Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Show. I'm your host, Joseph Decker. We're back. It's been a little bit of a break. I'd say we haven't had a show in probably 2 weeks. The state tournament coming up was definitely a little bit of a inflictor. We did a show with Lavelle Martin recently where we kind of talked about the state tournament. We talked about how we felt about it going into it, what made it special, and it was just overall a really good show. So that counted as one of our shows. I know a lot of our fans got to tune into that. That was a lot of fun. But this is the first Joe show in a while, and you're probably already seeing below who our guest is today tuning in. I know you guys did a great job sharing and getting everybody inactive in this and seeing who our guest is. And I just really appreciate that. I think I really mean it, man. We got the best support group over here in the state of Kentucky when it comes to support. And I love the support you guys show me. And so on the show and showing these young athletes, we look at the graphic here. We got MJ Wardlow tuning in with us today, Bowling Green alumni, a phenomenal basketball player last year, man. I told myself today, I said, if I would have been doing this show maybe 3 months earlier, MJ would have been one of the top guests we would have had. So it sucks, but I had to reach out to him because him and Trinity Valley recently just won the JUCO National Championship. It was a great season for them, great season for MJ. Kept up with him pretty frequently during the year. I think there was one point he had 15 points basically in 3 straight games. So he was just having a great season, man. And we talked about him being a Bowling Green alumni. You see what they're coming off of, the state runner-up, and the way they shocked so many people. So it's just, I know the Wardlow family tuning in, Fresh, and the whole family. I know they're super excited right now, and I mean it's a great opportunity to be. But I want to talk about our sponsors real quick. Because at the end of the day, it's not possible without them. We got B Spring Auto Body. That is Arlen Bland. Arlen, thank you for sponsoring always, man. Clark Agritech. That's Cooper Clark in Big Reedy, Kentucky. Southbound Boutique in Stacy's on Main is a boutique store located in Cleveland, Kentucky. They do great clothes. They do great clothes, great hospitality, great people. I highly recommend them. Charity Hall Bingo is the best bingo in Louisville. Longtime supporters of us and Louisville Athletics. Super glad to have them on. Gravel Funeral Home, that's a longtime friend of mine, Roy Gravel, sponsoring the show. I think he was one of our first sponsors. I don't think he's missed once since then. So thank you, Roy Gravel, for tuning in. And then Detman Law Injury. That's Brian Detman out of Louisville, Kentucky. Brian's been with us for probably 3 months now, and it's been great. He's a great supporter. He's a big basketball fan, and he does some great work up there. So shout out Detman Law and Brian Detman. Going to go ahead and share this on social medias real quick just so everybody can see. They'll be welcoming our guest, MJ Wardlow, on just shortly. Once again, thank you for everybody tuning in. I say it all the time, the support system and the support group and the people in Bowling Green, Kentucky is just out of this world. I call it basically my hometown at times. I'm not too far up the road. It's great people, man. They treat everyone so well. Great sports fans. It's always weird to say, but man, the way we treat Western Kentucky and the high school basketball athletics like a professional team, I love it, man. So thank you to all the support group and the fans who got to share this and get this out. Let's go ahead and welcome in MJ Wardlow onto the show. I've held him a little bit backstage. But MJ, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up?
I'm doing good, man. I want to take our time and enjoy the interview, but I feel like we got to go straight into it. You're coming off a JUCO National Championship, man. And I know you're excited. I know the team's excited. I know it's got to be the best vibes in the world around that locker room. Just tell me about it, man. How does it feel to live in this moment, winning a national championship? And probably, if it's not D1, it's probably the hardest tournament to win one in. So just kind of tell me about it, man, and how you're feeling.
Yeah, man, it's a surreal feeling, for me, winning the national championship, because as a freshman, I didn't really know much about JUCO basketball, but once I met Coach GH, he just showed me how important it was to win the national championship and how much hard work and dedication and discipline and consistency, it took to really win it, and working all those days, putting all that work in, it really paid off, and it really feels good.
For sure. MJ, we got to talk about the season, man, because, you talk about, well, maybe he's a freshman coming in. No, it was a big time productive season from you. I mean, you got the stats below. I mean, you're averaging 9 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, about 2 assists, and the efficiency numbers, man, 43% from deep. It's just crazy, man, on good efficiencies. How did you really adjust into your role coming into the year? Because it's not like you came in being one of those guys that had to learn, instantly double-digit scoring games, instant impact, starting at times. How did you really get adjusted and fitted into your role? What was that summer leading into the year like?
Man, like I said, just working a lot of hours in the gym, on the shoot machine, working on my game, working on my craft. It was just, like you said, I didn't come in as the one who was going to be able to put up numbers like I really did, but just working and putting in the work. Coach seen that, and he seen that my confidence and how I scored the ball. So it was just a lot of work, man.
The JUCO level right now is probably the most respected and talented it's ever been. You got guys going JUCO after JUCO. The top guys are always going Power 5 right off the rip, and it's just JUCO is so talented right now, man. And it's definitely not something to easily get adjusted in. Like I said, what do you think? Would you say, with the high school experience, what's the biggest skill separation you've seen there? Was it the athleticism moving into JUCO? Was it just the scoring ability? Was it the defense, physicality? What would you say was the biggest change getting to the JUCO scene?
Oh, I definitely say it's the athleticism and more so like the physicality. Majority of these guys are like kind of older. They're kind of stronger. They're gonna be faster and definitely be able to jump higher and whatnot. So yeah, just staying in the weight room for me, was a big key to definitely adjusting to that because it's always going to be a physical game. Every JUCO game, you're not going to get that many foul calls and whatnot. So yeah, that was definitely a big change from high school to JUCO.
No, for sure. They're great people. It's a great support staff. I think Trinity Valley has to have one of the best staffs in all of JUCO. I mean, Coach Hire, great guy. Get to stay in contact with him a little bit. But tell me about this staff, man, because you leave Bowling Green, which had such a great support group and staff and good coaches, and then you go into Texas, which is not only just a little bit of a drive, but you lose a lot of people. You leave everyone behind it away. Tell me about these coaches, man, and how they kind of embraced you and brought you into the culture, and just kind of talk about Coach Hire and what makes him so special.
Yeah. The coaches, they're all great people. They push me every day. They got to know me as a kid, and they just push me every single day to be the best version of myself. They didn't let me take no shortcuts, take no days off, and they developed a good relationship with me on the court and off the court. So yeah, I definitely love them guys, and they mean a lot. Yeah.
One thing I'll always say about the state of Kentucky that we're good at is you look at some of these bigger states and these bigger cities, and a lot of kids are, if I'm not D1, then it's bust. There's no point in furthering going into my career. But Kentucky, we don't only have good schools like NAIAs and JUCOs who really scout this state so well, but there's always guys who want to continue to play at the next level. They're never giving it up after just a high school career. And JUCO has really just been great at recruiting these guys, not only out of Kentucky, but USA wide. Why JUCO? What makes it special to you? Why did you pick the JUCO route over an NAIA route or a D2 or something like that? Why did you choose JUCO?
Um, for me, coming out of high school, I didn't really have much options. Like I said, NAIA, JUCOs, but it was really for me. It was Coach Greg. He seen about 2 videos of me playing, and he was just like, I want the kid just like that. He wanted me right down. So it was just like him watching the videos of me and being confident and seeing that, oh yeah, he can play here and he wants me to come down. It really made me think of the JUCO level different. And yeah, but I feel like it's the best decision I made was to go JUCO, most definitely.
No, for sure. MJ Wardlow isn't the only Wardlow in the family that plays basketball and looking to do it at the next level. We talked about Jace beforehand, and Jace is coming off a really good season, man. And Jace is a great basketball player, and there's some similarities in y'all's games. He has that decision coming up where he has to choose what route do I want to do, where do I want to go play at. Talk about growing up with Jace, in the basketball realm and having a little brother to compete with and, playing basketball together. I know there was probably some rivalries there at times and definitely some arguments, but at the end, it's going to pay off. You guys are both going to be able to play at the next level. You already are. Tell me about growing up with Jace and playing with him. And was there ever times you were kind of a mentor figure to him? Only being a year older, but was there ever times like that?
Yeah, most definitely. My brothers we've always been tight. We grew up playing 1-on-1 in the backyard all the time, which would end in fights and arguing, like they said. But yeah. Once we hitting the high school level, it was great. I love playing with my brother. It's a feeling that not many people get to feel. Playing with your brother in high school. But yeah, he had a different route, than me. But yeah, I was definitely keeping his head on. Trying to make sure he made the right decisions and whatnot on the court. Just like you said, being sort of a mentor for him.
No, for sure. I hit on Jason Bowling Green and you being the Bowling Green alumni not too long ago. You were just there. We're talking about your future and your recent season, but just about a year and a half ago, MJ was still playing at Bowling Green. So, let's talk about this. They're coming off this great run. They just made state runner ups. And, we were talking about it pre show. They really didn't lose a lot last year besides you and Mason. It's a lot of the same team. So you got to see a lot of your former teammates and close friends make this run in the state tournament as runner-ups. Deuce Bailey, Caden Carpenter, Luke Idlet, Braylon Banks. How does it feel to see those guys succeed and make a run and just put a lot of the state on shock and really surprise a lot of people?
Man, it feels great. It's a great feeling to watch them. I didn't get to be there and watch the game, but I would always tune in on my phone and watch the games. And man, yeah, once I seen them win the region and go all the way to the state championship game, man, yeah, it's a great feeling. It was great to see, because they gave it their all. They came together as a team. Had a lot of haters saying,
Yeah.
oh, they don't have a big man, so they're not going to go too far. But I feel like they just shut all that down and just came together and made the run, most definitely.
No, for sure. And I was texting Coach DG before the show and talking, and I'm like many. We didn't have Bowling Green as the favorite. It was hard to pick against a Warren Central team that I felt like the shortest guy was 6'4", and then Clinton making all the noise. But they proved a lot of people wrong. And I love their post game interviews, the way they talked. Man, it really humbled them, and they kind of came in with the chip on their shoulder. MJ, I'll ask you this: leaving a city like Bowling Green's hard, man. It feels like it has everything, especially restaurants, sports teams. Bowling Green has a little bit of everything, and you go to Athens, Texas, which if you ask a normal person, they might not have any idea where that is. Tell me a little bit about Athens, Texas, and what makes that spot so special, and how have you kind of embraced that community and been able to, just live so free down there?
Yeah, Athens is definitely a big change from Bowling Green. You're talking about going from having Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's to none of that here. Just at max, you'll have like 2 to 3 good food spots. But yeah, that's a big change it was for me. But the community's great. They got great supporters, great people who come to every game, travel on the road, give us food a lot. So it's a very special place for me. A warm welcome my first year for JUCO basketball.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I know a lot of people might not be extremely familiar with the roster. I know the family is fresh. I know they know this team pretty well because they're constantly tuning into the games, but some people's maybe only got to watch one or two, or maybe not got to tune in this year. Tell me what makes this team special. You guys were obviously super talented, super special. You made this run winning it all, but tell us about some of the teammates around the gym and some of the other guys that make this team what it is.
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, we all had the talent. It was a team full of guys who could all get buckets. We could all score the ball. So with that, everybody had to come together and find a role. We all had to find a role to play so that we could win a national championship. Because we all knew we could score. We all knew we could do what we could do. But as we came together as a team and found our role, we were unbeatable. So yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And there's a few guys around that locker room and team that make them special. A few I've talked to, especially Braylon. Braylon's a really good player. I've got to text him and talk to him a little bit. Tell me how these kind of teammates and guys, we talked about the coaches in the community, but, going into a locker room with a whole new team, it can definitely be challenging and difficult. I know you guys have another Kentucky guy on the roster and Daryl Bateman, but, tell me about, these guys. How did they embrace you and embrace you onto the team and just, allow you to be part of them and just make this run special?
I would definitely say, getting here in July and going through the 5-week camp, 3-a-days, 4 days a week, just that bringing us together is what I really think made us have like a good relationship, and just to embrace each other, embrace hard work, and knowing that we all had the same goal, which was to win a national championship. So I really think that brought us together.
Well, MJ, when you look at the stats, I'm sure next year you got some goals. Maybe you want to score more than 8 or 9 points a game. Maybe you want to affect one thing in particular. It was a great shooting split season. 45, 42, 80. You were shooting the ball at a very high clip efficiently. But what's some things that MJ wants to improve on going into a sophomore season here at Trinity Valley? What's some things you kind of got marked that you really want to improve on this summer?
Um, I want to, improve all aspects of my game, but think I'm gonna really live in the weight room.
Yeah.
Try to get thicker, try to get a little bigger, and I know that'll take my game to a whole nother level. But just being consistent, having discipline, staying in the gym all the time. I feel like if I do that, I can go wherever I want.
Well, MJ, it's been a great season. You guys kind of ended off with the cherry on top. But yeah, as you kind of told me when you joined, you said in the gym, it's not like the season ends today. You still got a lot of work to do. You guys still keep working. Coaches will be looking to add new guys, so it doesn't really stop there in Trinity Valley. But I've asked you a lot of questions, man. And I told you we have another guy tuning in, a little bit of a special guest, I told you, but you know him really well. It's Coach DG Sherrill from Bowling Green. I'm going to add Coach DG and let him talk to you a little bit, and you guys kind of be able to speak because y'all not seen each other probably in a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Coach DG, what's up, man? How you doing? Talk to MJ.
I'm good, man. How you guys doing? MJ, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Coach?
How you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Rocking and rolling down there out here. I've been keeping up. I've been keeping up a little bit. So, proud of you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody, man, anybody listen, MJ is he's gonna play Division I basketball somewhere. One of the most talented guards we've ever had come through. A natural scorer. I told coaches last year they were under recruiting him. I'm like, this kid can really go. And now everybody's seeing what I saw when he's a freshman in high school. So just proud of him, man. Just proud of Lone Bowling Green. So keep doing your thing, buddy. I know you will. Really proud of you. Really proud of you.
Third coach.
Yeah.
Coach DG, the Wardlow family better than probably anybody. I got to ask you this. We talked to MJ a little bit, had him talk about that rivalry with Jace and growing up with him. What's the biggest difference between the two brothers? Because I know Fresh is tuning in and he wants to hear about them. What would you say your kind of favorite thing about each of them is?
Well, I'd say Jace is, and I ain't seen MJ in a while, but Jace is stronger. Being here a little more aggressive to the basket. Both of them can really shoot it. Both of them can really handle it. Both of them can really guard. What's funny about this is I remember these guys when their grandfather used to bring them to basketball camp. And they were like 5, 6 years old, little guys. I remember them. MJ, one of y'all won the one-on-one competition one year. I remember them coming in there as little guys and coming hooping up. And so we've known those guys a long, long time. Their dad, Jermaine's a Bowling Green grad. I mean, it's, Wardlow family runs deep in Bowling Green, and they've all been very successful. His uncle Brandon was a really good player here, and his dad Jermaine, good player. And he's got a cousin that she tore her ACL this year, but she's led our girls team to 2 or 3 regional championships herself. So we're blessed to have the Wardlow family as part of the Bowling Green rich history. And MJ, I know, is following Jace this year. Jace was a big, big part of what we were able to do this year. And I had Jace guarding point guards to 5 men because, he just guard strong and aggressive, and whatever you asked him to do, he just went out there and did it and helped us be successful. So, man, we're proud of these guys. MJ's going to keep doing his thing, and we're going to watch Jace do his thing at the next level as well.
MJ, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man, and stopping in and talking to us about your time at Trinity Valley, the championship. I wasn't telling you who the special guest was, but I knew you'd be excited to see Coach DG tune in and come talk to you a little bit. So, DG, if you have anything else you want to say to MJ, you can. But if not, MJ, appreciate having you on, man.
Man, hey, proud of you, buddy. Just keep it together down there, keep working. I know I've had 3 or 4 coaches already call me, man, at the D1 level, so I know it's going to happen for you. And just proud of you. We're here when anything you ever need, brother. We're here for you. But proud of you, my man. Keep doing it. You're doing great.
Got you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, boss.
MJ, right. We'll talk again soon, man. Thanks for hopping on. Coach, let's switch the show up a little bit. How you been, Coach? I mean, it's been probably a pretty eventful, fun week for you. Let's go ahead and get the graphic changed a little bit. Tell me, man, how was it at Rupp, man? Because you shocked a lot of people again. You shocked them in region. Now you shocked them at state. How's the week been for you, man? I'm sure it's been busy.
I mean, your feet hadn't hit the ground really. Since I've been home, I've been trying to catch up on some sleep, to be honest with you. I'm an older guy now, so it was a tough week, to get rest. But I can say that, not only was our team very successful, but they represented themselves so well off the court. I mean, you're talking about guys that every time we had to have a team meeting or a team meal, I mean, they were always there. They were present. They went home. They went back to the rooms. They were mature. They They obeyed curfews and got their rest, and just really took the whole week very serious. And
Yeah.
I told people, I told my coaches a few months ago, I said, I think this team's just good enough to play on Saturday. But some things got to break our way. And we understood our role. We understood we were underdogs. We understood we were undersized, and we'd have to do some things different to manipulate games. And every step around the way, we manipulated every game plan a little bit differently, and we attacked each team a little bit differently. And the guys were just great about making those adjustments and staying in the moment and just taking that one game, and not letting the moment get too big for us, and playing one game at a time from the first round of the district all the way through Saturday. And it took this old coach on an amazing run, man. I'm forever grateful to them and for them. And, they're going to be one of those teams people are going to remember for a long time around here.
No, for sure. I think you said perfect, Coach. There was a little bit of time during the season where I know, the media were against y'all at times all year, saying one team was the favorite. But, you guys lose that hard-fought game at Woodford County, and you didn't really look the best at times against, some other teams. I know I think it was around, the Kirkwood, Tennessee game, some people were like, man, it just don't look like an elite, great Bowling Green team. But it kind of felt like then, and in a way, the team's it's just a switch flipped is what I'm trying to say. It's like you guys just played so well. Everything started working. It's like the guys started giving it harder, doing it better. It's like you guys just toughened things up, and it felt like a new team. Do you think there was ever really a moment kind of mid-season where things changed and you guys kind of locked in a little stronger and played a little harder?
I think there's two things going on there. I think that we understood, and rightfully so. Central had all the size, and they'd gotten us in that important game a couple times, and they were coming back as a favorite, and they added more size, to the roster. We didn't add any size, and so and I think our guys just kind of, I always believed in themselves, but it's kind of trying to figure out their roles. Because I'm starting 5 guards. Well, somebody has to go get rebounds. Somebody has to be willing to guard big guys. And as we went through the season, we like take a kid like Braylon Banks. Braylon always guarded a 1 or a 2. Well, then we're like, wait a minute, he's strong. We're playing behind post now. We got to get under guys and kind of push them off the block. So at Warren Central, when we were up, we had the big lead and kind of gave it all back. He showed how he could get underneath Kirk and push him out. And so, okay, there's our matchup, And we just had to kind of figure out who could guard big guys, who could read. Because Joe, Joe Hurt moves in. He's 6'3", but Joe's not a post player. And so, you put him on post guys. Well, there's some frustration there. Whereas Braylon, he didn't care. He didn't care. He was gonna knock the dust off anybody he guarded him there. Then, Deuce. You take Deuce, who was a preseason 4th region player of the year. Well, a lot of people didn't understand what Deuce was doing with having to kind of balance football and balance basketball. And, Deuce and us, we worked out a little arrangement where he could still do some throwing and that, because he's going to be a Division I quarterback. I don't want him to go there and be behind, and he didn't want to do that. But then all of a sudden, with about 3 weeks left of the season, we got a different Deuce. So he got a look in his eye like, okay, it's Deuce time. It's postseason. Let's go. And so I think and then I'm going to tell you, our heart and soul of our team was Caden Carpenter. Caden was our leader in the locker room. He was our emotional guy. And so, and I'll put Jace in that same conversation with Braylon. Jace was willing to go in there and be physical with people and guard bigger guys, and because somebody had to do that. Yeah. And so at some moment, all 5 or 6 of our guys, seniors, had to give something up of themselves that they liked to do something that was going to be hard if our team was going to ultimately take that step. And when you saw us at the state tournament, if you saw us at the regional tournament, we actually started that in the regional tournament. But we got to the state tournament, we were just not going to be denied. And it wasn't, I want to sit here as a coach and say, well, man, I'm just did a tremendous job. But I'm telling you what, it was those guys. And I won't take an ounce of credit. I want those 6 guys to take every bit of the credit for what they did and how they did it, because they allowed us to lead them and guide them. But, man, they went out on the court and did it. And so I couldn't be more proud of what they did and how they went about their business. Very mature bunch that deserve every accolade that's coming their way right now.
Well, Coach, I listened to one of your post-game interviews, and I can't remember what game it was, but you said these guys, it's like they didn't know the word quit. They never quit. They kept going. There was never a time where I feel like any of those guys gave up. if they were up 20, if they were down, they never gave up. And it might have been after the Ashland game, but I think that kind of really describes this team well. I mean, you had a lot of athletes, you had a lot of guys who had to figure out their roles, and they never quit. You could say having a guy like Deuce in there who knows the stage. He's never quit. He's extremely physical. Could be a big boost. But you've coached a lot of great teams. I mean, your records show below the things you've played at, the places you've been. But this team's special. I can tell it's a little special, how you speak about them. What really do you say makes this team different from maybe your other runner-up team or your state champion team? What would you say kind of makes them different the most? Is it not having a true big, being a smaller guard ran team? What is it?
Well, I think the first thing it is the camaraderie of this team, the closeness of this team. You take the regional final game, we started off in a 10-0 hole, down 10-0. I called a timeout when we got down to 10, and I just said, hey, what do you guys want out of this? What do you want out of this? There's nothing I can draw on a grease board. What do you guys want out of this? And they rallied together. You could see them high-fiving. You could see, and then the other night, we're in that state championship game, and we take a couple really quick shots that we hadn't been taking, in that run where we got down 24. I called a timeout. I'm like, hey, guys, look, we're in the state championship game. There's 15,000 people watching it here. It's broadcast all over the state. How are we going to finish? This is the last game we can play. How are we going to finish? And they all looked at one another and just started shaking their heads and started high-fiving each other, and you could see that adrenaline coming back in their bodies. And they take a 24 lead down to 6. Yeah. And we have a 3 rim out to knock it to 3. If we could have got to one possession, I really think we could have won the game. I really think we were that close to winning the game against a team that they started 4 players bigger than anybody we have. And so, and they're good. And not only they had great size, but they're also good players. I mean, they're Division I high caliber players. And we're out there, man, just throwing everything against the wall we can to try to neutralize that size. And our guys weren't going to quit. And I think it's the closeness. I mean, 5 of those boys have been together since the 6th grade. Yeah. And they've played together. They know one another. If you heard them in the locker room, you think they're all brothers. And Joe came in and just blended right in with them. Yeah. So, and then our young guys, some of our young guys, they allowed us to put scout teams together. And we'd put in total scout teams. We'd run the other team's entire offense. And these freshmen and sophomores are doing it for us so our guys can prepare. So I think our guys allowed us to prepare them. They allowed us to put game plans in. But then when they went out there and lights went on, I think they would have played anybody. You could put the Wildcats out there and we'd say, okay, let's go play these guys. I don't think they had no fear of anybody. When we went out there that night, even though we looked across the court when they were playing all the music and lights were out in the state championship game, our guys, they were looking across the court thinking, we're getting ready to beat those guys. And so that confidence and that swagger and that ability to say, we belong, I think is what mattered. And this group always thought they could belong. And the guy you just had on before us, MJ, if we could have gotten MJ through to the state tournament, he would have put on an ultimate show. Yeah. Because he is without a doubt one of the most talented players I've ever coached. And he's also one of the best kids I've ever coached. Yeah. He's just a wonderful kid. And I hated they didn't get there, but Jace and his crew this year, I mean, they made a mark, and they did it together. And we went tonight and was recognized at the city council meeting. They were all there, and you can still see they're walking. Now they're figuring out what they did. They're figuring out what they accomplished. And just like I say, man, no one can take it from them. There's banners going in the rafters that no one can ever take this from them, and just extremely proud of them.
No, for sure. And it feels like, even though the season's over, those memories, they don't go anywhere. That's a long lasting effect you talked about tonight. And then those younger guys will definitely remember that, because I want to talk about the younger group you have. There's a guy named Anthony Davis that I'm a really big fan of. He's just an 8th grader and he's 6'3". He could end up being taller than the Anthony Davis we all know. He's not done growing, but Anthony Davis, he's going to be great. Caleb Brooks, there's guys I'm going to leave off, but Orlando Davis, I remember coaching against him in AAU just like 2 years ago. I know he's going to be an absolute beast, but you got such a young group ahead of you, DG, and I know you're not done just yet. You still got a year or two, maybe more in you, but tell me about this young group of guys you have, and how do you think this run and these seniors, how do you think they're going to impact how these younger guys play going forward?
Well, I mean, we've got some kids. You mentioned several really good ones. AD is going to be, he's going to be a killer, man. He's got great feet. You'll see him on the court a ton as a freshman. Orlando will be our leader. He'll be our captain. Him and a kid named Embry Dotson, who also are both football kids. Those kids will be our leaders. They'll be our guys that'll kind of drive this team. They'll both be juniors. And then you got a kid, Hudson Aiken, who's really going to be a great point guard for us. You mentioned Brooks. We got Crow, another big boy. Ian Wells, who can really shoot the basketball. Jakari Woodard and Ziggy Herndon, that both can really play and guard. Just a talented group. And then behind them, we've got, Trey and some of those guys coming in. That younger group of eighth graders will be freshmen. So, we've got the best incoming eighth grade group and freshman group in the area.
Yeah.
And then we got quality. We don't have a bunch of kids in front of them, but we got quality players in front of them. And I was talking to my superintendent when we got back. We're talking about how young we're going to be. And I told him, I said, but the thing about it is, you get us through December of next year and get us in January, I don't know if people want to play us then. I mean, once we get to some varsity games, these guys, because, people forget that MJ and Mason's junior year, we had no seniors. And Luke Islet's 3 rims out to beat Central the year they won a state championship. And so we had a shot at the buzzer. If it goes in, we're going to state tournament that year. And so with no seniors. So we don't fear, here at Bowling Green, we don't fear playing anybody with no one feels sorry for us. So we're putting together another really tough schedule. Yeah. We're going to take these young guys on the road. We're going to play in tough environments out of region. They're tough. They're battle tested. This senior group showed I had 9 underclassmen on the varsity roster, and we did it on purpose. So they saw these guys prepare. They sat on a state championship bench. They've tasted it. And so once you've tasted that, you just want more of it. And so the hunger and the desire, all my kids have joined on AAU teams. A lot of them are playing out of Lexington, Louisville, Nashville. They're playing, high-level AAU. They've bought in. And so it's exciting. Like I say, we're going to probably have the youngest team I put on the court since I've been here next year. But we're talented, and we're young, but we're talented. And so we can play loose. We're going to be an underdog a lot. We're going to come after people, and we're going to play our style of basketball. And it should be a fun, exciting season. Yeah. And like I say, we got money in the bank now. We got some equity, so we're gonna play hard as we can. But it's this senior group set the path for us.
Mm-hmm. No, and we talked about that senior group, and I'm not going to go off here without mentioning at least a few of them. We'll talk about them all, but Luke Idlet was a guy going into the season, and I knew the kid could shoot the ball. But it's like this year, he took a lot of different roles. His playmaking and able to, be more of a guard took a role, and he improved as a defender. And not only are coaches starting to realize that, but it's starting to show, on the biggest stage. Luke had a really big second game. What is it about Luke that makes him just so special, man? Because he's a great player, and I know the guys love him. The guys love him for sure, but just talk about how big and how good Luke was this year for you.
Luke is highly skilled. I mean, people just, people try to just label him a marksman, but you see how many steals. He was second or third on team in steals this year. He guarded other teams, really good players. People started zeroing him a lot, so we put him at the 1 and let him initiate offense so he can run the 1. He's got a few options at the next level. But he could play a D2, maybe even a low level Division I program, because he can really shoot it. He can really guard. He can handle it. He's athletic. People don't understand how athletic he is. I mean, he comes from really athletic parents. I mean, his mom was a pretty good player back in her day, and dad was a really good baseball player. And, people they undersell him sometimes because, he was undersized for a couple years. He took him a little while to grow. But now he's gotten bigger, he's strong, and really athletic. So people are going to see wherever he decides he wants to go, and he's got multiple options. You'll see him on the court as a freshman. You can mark it down. He'll be playing. He'll be on the court starting or coming around that bench, kind of like MJ as a freshman, and making an impact wherever he decides he wants to play at.
For sure. And we obviously got to talk about Deuce Bailey. Me and MJ were talking about Deuce a lot before the show. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not as familiar, and I'm only 17, so I don't know all the Bowling Green legends. I know there's lots, but I don't know if there's one that has impacted winning as much as Deuce Bailey in both sports. What is it about Deuce? Is it his mentality? Is it the way he approaches games? Him better than basically anybody besides maybe Craig. What makes Deuce Bailey so special?
Deuce is a very low key. Mm-hmm. He goes about his business very quietly, but when that switch flips, he's as good an athlete as ever come through this place. There's 3 guys that come to mind in my 20 years here. There's Nicarius Fant, there's D'Angelo Wilson, and there's Deuce Bailey. And those guys all showed up on the biggest stage, two sport guys that have state football championship rings. Now, Baby D got a state basketball ring too, but, and the Cars played in the Final Four. And then here we got Deuce finishing his career in the state championship game. So when Deuce walks in the gym, on day one, he walks in the gym, he can start for you. Yeah. He's a guy, there's not very many guys that when he walks in off the football field, picks the basketball up, he's ready to go. Yeah. Deuce wanted to guard the other team's best players. And think about who he guarded from the regional tournament all the way through the state championship game. Yeah. He guarded animals. He guarded miserable, and even Xander, I asked him who the toughest kid he was he guarded, and he said Xander was the toughest, strongest one. And Xander put up some big points, but in the second half, Xander was worn down. Deuce had got him finally. His shots were short, and Xander quit turning the corner as much because Deuce was just going to hit him. Yeah. After the state championship game, it took me forever to get him to take his uniform off. Yeah. And when I looked at his blood all over the front of his jersey, where his mouth and his nose were both busted. But I mean, that's what he gave you. He just gave you everything he had. And that's Deuce Bailey. He's going to give you everything he has to try to help his team win.
Well, yeah, you just talked about Deuce. I don't know if there's a world where Deuce isn't going to be successful at the next level, man. I mean, he's going to take stride. Missouri State got a beast, man, and they're moving up to FBS, D1. Yeah. We're going to be seeing Deuce a lot in the future. It's not – Deuce isn't over. I obviously want to try to hit on all these guys, man, because this senior class are just so special. We hit on Braylon a little bit. We will him more, but I think two guys that me and you are both big fans of is Caden Carpenter, and I compared him to a Kawhi Leonard on defense because he's long, he's strong, he's physical. I know Caden a little bit off the floor, and, watching his interviews, he's not that quiet as he was in that KHSAA room where he was maybe giving three-word answers. Caden's a really, really good human, but he's a really good player too, and I think he's been one of those guys, you hit on it earlier. He's been undervalued and under-recruited by a lot of coaches. Tell me about Caden, man, and just how good he'll be at the next level. Even if he doesn't go and play ball, maybe he goes and he works and he finds a career in something else. Why is Caden just going to be so successful, man?
Man, you got those kids that just have it. They just have that it. And Caden has it. I mean, he is he will go down and again, just as one of those kids that I've coached that you just love to have him in the room with you. I could just sit and listen. I've sat and listened to those guys talk. I can listen to Caden talk to his teammates or anyone else for hours. Yeah. He's a very entertaining and engaging kid. He'll be as successful as he wants to be because he is so engaging. And he's such a team guy. Like, I don't know how many times this year I'd pull Caden out of a game in a rotation. And he'd say, "No, coach, let my dogs play. They're good." He always called his dog, "Let my dogs play. They're good." Just giving up those minutes, in fourth quarters and all, when we're up big or whatever, just to let his guys play. He was always we were perplexed early in the year about how do we start 6 guys. Yeah. And so Caden comes in the room with the coaches and says, "Hey, man, just set me, coach. Just set me because I'm good, man. I don't need it," which makes you only want to make sure you start him. You want to make sure okay, there's my one starter. That guy starts. Now let me figure out the next 4 because that kid there, he's willing to give up everything for team success. Everything. Yeah. He never wanted the spotlight. He never asked for it. He's never tried to take over anything with anyone. I mean, he can really shoot it. Like Caden shoots a high percentage, but he wouldn't shoot it. And we would always say we're guaranteed to win if Caden gets double figures. We're guaranteed to win because every game Caden had double figures, we won and won handily. And so I'll tell you, he's gonna go somewhere and play basketball. And there's interest. We're trying to work on the right fit for him. But he's gonna go somewhere, and when he gets there, that coach is gonna call me and say, "I love this kid. I love everything about him. He gets here early, he stays late, he's special, man. He's special. He's love that guy, man. I just love that kid."
No, it's hard not to. Caden's a super good guy, and I agree with you, man. I think there's a lot of times he passed up too many shots because Caden's a really good offensive player. Don't see 8 points and let it deceive you. He's a lot better than that. Coach, the future of the 4th region is kind of up in the air to some people. Central loses multiple big-time guys. Clinton County loses Cannon Young, multiple other pieces. You guys lose six or 7 guys. Everybody's losing a lot, and a lot of people say it's going to be a down year in the 4th. They said that this year, though, too. They said it would be a down year. What is it about the fourth region that you just think makes it so special? It's like there never really is a down year. It's like every year, yeah, well, it's a down year. We had 2 teams win 30 games this year, and then Central wins, I think, 23 or 24.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about the fourth region? Is it just basketball in the air, or what just makes it keep being special?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and if you had Unseld and me on here together, we could probably. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'll just be honest with you. I don't. What is it like? 6 out of the last 10 or 11 years, a fourth region team has played in the final game.
Yeah.
And so there's not a more successful region in the entire state than the fourth region. And every year, people want to say, "Well, this is gonna happen. That's gonna happen." I'll tell you that I feel like that this district, the 14th district, and maybe even the fourth region, and I know us and Central's programs are better because of each other. The rivalry and the preparation and how hard we go at each other.
Yeah.
I mean, people can argue about rivalries, but is there a better one than us in Central? I don't think there is. As far as the intensity, if you ask fourth region officials, I don't know how many fourth region officials over the years have told me calling that game is like calling a college game.
Yeah.
Because the kids are so engaged, they play so hard. And usually it's a split, back and forth every year. We get our home, they get their home. Now they're going to be the lead horse. They've got they got Bird over there, and they've got really good guard play, and so they've got they still got a lot of guys over there, and the Anthony kid is such an animal, man. He plays so hard all the time. So they'll be the lead horse, but. Clinton County, I mean, goodness, man, they were great, and they lost some pieces, but they still got some good pieces.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see kind of who emerges. Glasgow's got some good players. Greenwood's got the best sophomore class in the region, going to be juniors. South has got some. We've seen South's young kids. The region will start with the 14th district, and people can say what they want to, but until they beat the 14th district. That's where it's going to start and end with, and I think that we'll all be, because of the intensity of this basketball in this area. I think you'll look at this region about middle of January and say, man, there's some pretty good teams, and it won't be just us in Central. There'll be some good teams emerge, because think about Warren Cunningham. I mean, think about what Nick did with Clinton this year. There's some great coaches in this region, and Russell County had a really good run. So there's going to be some great teams, and there always is, and the intensity of the games will be really good and really quality. This is a great basketball region. It really is.
Well, Coach, it's been fun talking to you. I don't want to hold you too long. I got to get you in here at the MJ a little bit, and then us talk about this run. I'll be honest, I told you, I said I wasn't really expecting. I said I knew this Bowling Green team was good, but hey, I'll take my blame. I didn't have you guys favored, but I think you guys proved a lot of people wrong. And what if these guys weren't doubting you all, maybe it doesn't light the fire that it did. But one more group of guys I really want to shout out is your coaching staff, just because they're all really good guys, especially Shane Buttrey. I know Shane really well. He's super smart X and O wise, but he's a great guy as well. I'm sure you love him, especially for having Turner, having him play for you. But just kind of tell me about this coaching staff and the guys around you who also not only uplift you, but your players.
Well, you mentioned Shane. Shane and I kind of do the offensive stuff together, along with Sean Savage, who played for me here. Yeah. We kind of break that down. I brought back some guys like Cedric Browning, who helped me for a long time. And he and I both went to administration. I brought him back, and we've got Ethan Scott, who led the state in scoring when he was in Dawson Springs. It helps us. We got a guy, Gabe Philman, who's played at Owensboro, who's volunteering with us. Jason Limley, who's won 1,000 games at Moss over there when he's coaching basketball, and Jason Kanzler, who also has been coaching with Kerry Stovall in the South for a while and helps us. And so, we've got a good combination of guys, a good vibe with our guys. They work hard. They got good relationships with the kids. And you brought up Buttrey, and Buttrey, if he wanted to be, could be a head coach at about anywhere he wanted to be. He and I coached against each other for years. And so, those guys help you scout. They help you make calls and adjustments over there. Listen, I'm not very smart, so I have to have great players and great people around me to kind of help me. And every time, and I tell people all the time, the success I've had here is because I've had really, really good players, and I've had really, really good help on that bench over there. And I've had a great administration that's allowed us the opportunity and the support to be successful. Bowling Green's a special place, man.
Yeah.
And it's a special place with special people, and we've really enjoyed our time here. And like you said earlier, I may hang around a few more years. I'm getting a little long in the tooth, but I still, I love the gym, and I love practices, and I love being here with these guys. And so it's been exciting, and we're gonna enjoy this one for a while, and then here before long we'll get back in the gym, and get back to work.
Well, that's for sure, Coach. And the talent's not going anywhere. If you skip a little farther back, we were just talking about how good that young group is. But, Coach, I'm really glad having you on here, man. I think it's your debut, so I'll have to have you on again here soon and talk to you, especially coming into the year. I appreciate you coming on, man. And it was a great run, and I don't think it could have happened to much of a better team. So congratulations on that. I'll let you end us off if you have anything else you want to say.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, thank you for what you're doing, man. I've been following your work here, and you're doing a great job of covering everybody. And I think that's really important. Give everybody their flowers, as they say, the young guys say. So yeah. I appreciate what you're doing, buddy.
Appreciate you, man. DG, we'll talk again soon. Have a great night. See you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Coach DG Sherrill. Bowling Green, they're coming off a run that, while a lot of us didn't expect, I don't think we could be any more glad for a team to do it. They were great during the state tournament. They got a great team. They got a great group of fans. And Coach DG is one of the best coaches you can find around. He's a great guy to talk to. Earlier in the show, if you missed it, you can always skip back. It's uploaded like YouTube videos on all social medias, but we talked to MJ Wardlow. Checked in about his time he's having at Trinity Valley. We had him talking about Jace and the Bowling Green guys a little bit, but it was a great show. Had a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back again soon. Coach Steve Page from Great Crossing. We're going to get an episode worked out with him where we can talk a little bit. And, then we kind of start going into next season in a way. We'll take a little bit of a break, obviously, high school content, but these guys are going to play AAU. I want to have some last episodes with some of those seniors who might not be able to talk on an interview again. So I just want to appreciate everybody hopping on the show tonight. We had two great guests. It was a lot of fun. I think the graphics look pretty cool. I put a lot of work into that, hoping they'd be good. But I want to appreciate everybody tuning into the show tonight. Make sure to share and leave a like. Everybody can still watch even once the show's done. It was a lot of Bowling Green tonight in today's episode, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I appreciate everybody tuning in. God bless. Tune in next time for another great show.